Hi, we're Slot, and you're listening to J-Pop Exchange with SeanBird.
Today, several members of the band Slot are here to speak with us. Why don't we start by having each of you briefly introduce yourselves?
Hi, all people here. I'm Cash from Moscow band Slot.
Hi, my name is ID. I am guitar player.
Hi, my name is Nuki. I'm female voice of Slot band.
Our listeners would be very interested in learning about the band's history. How did the band's name Slot come to be?
Our song Clone unexpectedly was taken to the film blockbuster Boomer. That became so because the musicians of the first structure worked as video film editors in a film company and gave our demo to a music producer. Unexpectedly, he liked it and told us to bring the song on Monday, but we still had no name. So we gathered together on Saturday on the 2nd of February 2002 and undertaken a brainstorm. Everyone brought a long list of names and we chose the best by voting. One name won another, and so like in an Olympic system, in the end there left only two words. With the quantity 3 against 2, the word Slot has won. As for me, I was against it. Now I'm ready to kill my opponent for Slot, but at that moment I was against it. See how it happens. And we consider now that the 2nd of February 2002 is our birthday, our band's birthday.
Interesting. Yeah, it's funny how things can change. It's also cool that the band recently celebrated its 7th birthday. Congratulations. Please tell us something about your individual background, where each of you are from, and your respective past musical experiences. Cash?
We all had played in some different bands until Slot was formed. Mostly in extreme metal bands played death thrash, hardcore, doom, prog, and other styles of metal.
ID?
I was born and grown up in Moscow. When I was a child, I made a guitar of plywood and scaffold. Since the time I decided that I will become a musician. Then I entered a music school for children. After finishing it, took lessons at the Russian guitar masters Sergei Popov and Yuri Melian. My first band was a school ensemble. We played on the school parties. After the school, I entered the technical university, where I played in a great number of bands different in level and stylistics. In 2001, Destiny has reduced me with the Cash, and he invited me to join his project. That's how I joined the Slot.
Nukia?
My mother is a musician herself, worked as an opera singer, and since my childhood she has tried to teach me to play piano, but my childish consciousness resisted. As a result, I haven't become Mozart. By 13 she started to teach me to sing, and it was much better. Then I entered a musical college, and so it all started.
That's very interesting. You're all quite accomplished. Who are the band's musical influences?
It isn't seen clearly, but such musicians as Björk, Nina Hagen, King Crimson, Guan Apes, Beatles, and Andrew Lloyd Webber influenced me greatly.
Here I can answer in different ways. What bands have influenced me and what influenced the Slot music? Let's start from the last point. One of the impulses for the forming of the band was the first album of Linkin Park. There is no matter to hide it. But from the beginning it was understood that the band had its own face, and not only because female faces in it. We impudently believe that even if we haven't reinvented the bicycle, then truly created such combination that doesn't have analogs. For me, as a fan and a musician, the base was formed by such bands as the Beatles, Black Sabbath, Faith No More, Depeche Mode, Death, Meshuggah, Cypress Hill. Perhaps I'd better stop, or I won't stop at all.
There are a great number of bands I listen to, and their list is usually changing. On the moment I can name Lost Prophets, Korn, Metallica, Linkin Park, and so on. A lot of bands which were produced by Russian producer Max Fadiev, and American producers Rick Rubin, Bob Rock, Colin Richardson, and Desmond Child.
What music do each of you listen to?
Different. In the past, I listened to jazz, such as Jaco Pastorius, Weather Report, Miles Davis. Now it's Porcupine Tree, Maxim the Hormone, and Portishead.
Basically, I listen to artists' songs, music that are in charts. Also, to the new albums of our colleagues. Now all my listening to music is reduced to its analysis.
Here I want to answer for surely. I like the music in which there's mistakes, drive, melody with harmony and something new. I don't like pure drive, but if it's beautiful but soft, I won't listen to it too. I like the creative artificial music more than live rock and roll. Moreover, that in our country, there is simply no place to hide from it. Recently, the only TV channel that supported our alternative music, A1, has reformatted. Now this channel becomes more and more similar to other channels and radio stations. Actually, it has become similar to the radio stations because TV doesn't support rock music at all. And those channels who tried to do this, as it was found out, were dead burn.
Two of my favorite songs are Two Wars and Dead Stars. Can you tell us something about the inspiration and or motivation for these songs?
In both cases, the music was primary. We wrote new compositions, studied them, and only after that we wrote lyrics. As Salvador Dali said, if at the moment of creation of a picture the artist hasn't known yet the sense of it, that it does not mean that there is no sense in it. I mean that we wrote the music. That's great, cool. But only after that I wrote the lyrics equal to the atmosphere of the music. Probably I did it well, or these songs couldn't have become real hits. And in nowadays Russian music, these songs are real hits. It is clear, both from numerous responses and from your reaction, and because Two Wars became hit of the year at the second ceremony of Russian Alternative Music Awards.
Very interesting insight into your creative process.
I haven't joined the band while they were writing the Two Wars album yet, but the Dead Stars were written very funny. When ID, our guitar player, brought the main theme, I and Cash wrote the first variant of lyrics. In fact, the first words which came to the head became the text. As a result, we changed just a couple of words in chorus, and the rest came from the first variant. Seems it was fate. Later we had some problems with the text. Once we are invited to play in very important gig in the Red Square. The whole program of the show was checked and sealed in the Kremlin, so they found something about drugs in the lyrics. But actually the Dead Stars is about a guy who follows his own egoistic interest and makes a lot of problems for himself and his girlfriend, who shouts, stop while there is time, I'm falling down for loving you, turn to the place where you dance, stars are shining and blinding the sun with emptiness.
Wow, excellent. Thanks for giving us a sample of the song translated into English. It's always wonderful to hear your singing voice, which is, after all, a powerful component of the band's overall sound. I really love your stage performance involving Killing Kenny from South Park. I gather that you're big fans of South Park. What inspired you to create that type of stage production?
I didn't understand actually about what show you were speaking about. Maybe about how they killed Kenny music video, but even there we didn't kill him. It was they.
Oh no, I didn't say you killed Kenny. I just said involving Killing Kenny. And of course, we all know it's not you, but they who killed Kenny.
Even more, when we played the gig presentation of this video, we accomplished the act of extension innocently killed Kenny in our Moscow sky. According to special order, an inflatable 2.5 meter high Kenny was made and rose up to the sky at plenty of people. I should say that I'm a great fan of the South Park myself. And by the moment we wrote this song, I have already watched all 11 seasons of it. And I appreciate the position of Trey Parker and company, which is ridiculing low middle class, religious dogmas, templates which saturated the brains of humanity, and so on. I also understand their humor, and it's very important too.
Is South Park popular in Russia?
In 2008, They Killed Kenny Like 2 Wars became the hit of the year. We are some sort of local hit makers in this way. So the response of our people was so powerful that no one could compete with us. Of course, that became so because of the great popularity of the cartoon in Russia. When our government, armed with retrograde censorship, wanted to close the only anime channel 2x2, our people went out to streets to protest, chaotically and organized. And one of the concerts in defense of the channel, people were dispersed by subdivisions of special forces. The main victim of our censorship was the South Park, so our people went to defend it.
Wow, incredible. In earlier communications, you told me that the band has been using an anime style as a visual concept in your more recent videos and live acts, and that you are inspired by some Japanese music. Please share more about this.
It was planned actually, but really in the Death Stars video, we look like painted anime heroes. Also, our upcoming single is called Anime. When the chorus melody was sent to me, I imagined something like a skin from anime movie. Both innocent and entertaining in the same time. It's about a girl who fell in love with the hero of anime cartoon, and she wants to be with him so much. But what a mess. He's just a painted. Such a funny story.
Definitely. Switching gears slightly. Are there any traditional Russian influences in your music? For example, within the lyrics or the themes?
Oh, no. We were growing up listening to the Western music, and we hate Russian rock. According to our music spirit, we are one of the most non-Russian bands. Our music is very different, but whatever we do, its nativity won't be Russian. That's why we aren't rotated at any radio stations. Of course, not only because of it. Such music is not supported by our show business and mass media. They're afraid to place money in such music. But in crisis, we haven't lost anything in difference from the top artists.
Yeah, and being less affected by media and money interests probably helps to keep the band more fresh and vibrant. It seems sometimes, as soon as money gets involved, creativity goes downhill. And Nukia, I get the impression there's something you would like to say on the topic of Russian influences.
Russian mentality is a very specific thing. Sometimes it's normal for our people to fall in melancholic mood.
Melancholic.
It's so if they listen to music, it should shatter the soul, turn it upside down. For example, the 2 Wars song, in my opinion, is a very Russian song, full of such sadness, but it is good sadness, even noble maybe.
Are there other influences the band has, such as books, art, literature, or movies?
Certainly, the other forms of art influence our creativity. The cinema and animation is the most inspiring for me. For example, after viewing the film, I usually have a lot of different musical ideas, which turn into songs after. Also, I'm inspired by movies Hayao Miyazaki, Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away, an example.
I think only in that way that they influenced us in general. Of course, sometimes we use them in our lyrics, but I cannot mark anything global. As it said, fear the people who quote only one book. We are quoting different books and don't infect it with monotheism.
I noticed that your music has been featured in many film soundtracks. How did these opportunities come about?
It's happened so that from the beginning taking part in OST has become a part of our creative way. It has happened so that in the beginning Slot took part in the soundtrack for the film Beamer that became very popular in Russia. The OST CD includes 2 songs of Slot. Then our publisher has placed our songs in several soundtracks for the films Street Racers, Hunting for a Piranha, and so on.
Interesting. Would you ever consider touring in the USA?
From the beginning in our art, we tried to make something interesting not only for Russian people, but also for the foreigners. The statistics of visitings of pages in not Russian-speaking social networks proves that interest to the band is high. So we're planning to write an English or geek show. Sure that soon we'll meet at our Geek and American Rock Club.
Definitely, let's hope so. Do you have any current or upcoming projects that you'd like to talk about?
Now we are recording our 4th album and writing English show program which will allow us to act in Europe. We don't have time for anything else.
I have already said about the anime single. Also, our next album will be released this fall. And after that we're going to have a new tour. Also, we're planning the first European tour now. And maybe someday we'll visit the USA too.
Again, I hope so. In conclusion, is there anything you'd like to talk about or discuss or mention that we haven't discussed thus far?
I just want to say that the West thinks of us incorrectly, and in many directions we still have shown nothing. One of these directions is rock music, but there are a lot of talented people, almost geniuses who are still underground here. I don't even mean Slot, but in general. And when the second Iron Curtain will fall, I think they will show the world what they can do.
Fascinating. Thanks again.